Howdy YouTube, welcome to my channel, The Book of Jamaica. My name is Micah and I am an American living in Germany. I kept telling my friends that I was going to German Prom, but what does that mean? Prom and Abiball, or as I call it German Prom, are only similar in a couple ways, and one of those is that they are both celebrations at the end of the year for the upper class students, so the 11th graders and the 12th graders. And there are reasons to get fancy in the nice weather. But that is about it. Prom and Abiball are probably both different at every school. But I got to go to prom twice, so I got 2 prom experiences. My first prom was open to 11th graders and 12th graders. There was no food, there was only a little bit of water to drink, and it was at a golf course that our school had rented out specifically for the dance. There was a DJ that played music and we danced, and it was a pretty good time. My second prom experience was open only to 12th graders. You could invite dates that were younger than you, but only 12th graders were allowed to invite people, and they were the only ones who were allowed to buy the tickets. There were some light pastries at the dance, so cookies and cupcakes, and there was some water and juice and punch and stuff to drink, so this prom had a little bit more than my other prom. Also, my other prom had 1 string of lights and a poster for decorations, and this other prom had lots and lots of lights, and it was pretty themed, so I thought that was cool. This prom, my second prom, was at Union Station in Tacoma. There was also a DJ at this prom, and there was also lots of dancing, just like my prom before, and of course everyone was fancy in their tuxedos and their dresses, and that was great. But at prom, for both proms, for any prom, people almost always go out before prom to eat at a semi-fancy restaurant, because you do have to remember that we were high school students and poor and didn't have that much money to go eat at super fancy restaurants. So we would eat with either our groups or our dates. I went in groups both times. And you also go and take fancy prom pictures with your groups or your dates. And that's always a lot of fun. You can goof around and take pretty pictures, and oh, I just love it. I think it's a good experience. Then of course there are the after parties, because prom usually ends at around 11 o'clock at night. People start leaving probably around 10 o'clock, so it's empty by 10:30, and they all go to after parties where they go drink their illegal alcohol, because you can't drink until you're 21 in the US. But of course me, I had to be an adult the next day and work until 1 in the morning, so I didn't go to any after parties. Abiball is quite different. It was not what I expected at all. I basically expected prom, because my friends that I talked to who were also going to Abiball told me, they were like, oh yeah, it's like prom, because they'd seen prom in the movies, which it's kind of like in the movies, but usually not at the actual school and not that decorated, but whatever. And one of the first differences I noticed at Abiball was that families were invited. Marvin and I went with his mom, his dad, and his mom's best friend. A lot of families went with their parents and their uncles and everything, and their siblings. And I thought that was really interesting. Also, when you walked in, you saw this big, huge Festhalle, which I don't know if every Abiball is at the Festhalle, but it was filled with giant tables covered in white tablecloths, and it looked really, really fancy. And there were hundreds of people everywhere, and it was really cool. And there was just a little teeny tiny bit of space at the very front of the Festhalle for dancing, and I thought that was really interesting, because I thought this was supposed to be like, oh yeah, it's prom. I thought it was supposed to be prom, so you're supposed to dance a lot, and thought there was going to be way more space for dancing. There was enough space for dancing, but I thought there was going to be way more. And also, there was live music and a DJ, but they played live music for most of the Abiball, and I thought that was really cool. They weren't really famous bands or anything. They were just local bands getting a kick, getting a start on things, and I thought that was really cool. There was a cover band that played some really cool music, and this one guy, who I think is probably going to become famous one day, and I don't remember his name, but his music was really good too, and we just got to listen to them while chatting with our friends and our family and eating from the buffets. There was food served at Abiball. And again, I expected prom. There was hardly any food at prom, so you go out and eat before. And there was a dinner buffet and then later a dessert buffet. And I thought that was so cool. All of that was included. You didn't have to pay for that. You paid to get in, just like you pay to get into prom. But it wasn't really that expensive. I think it was maybe 25 euro a person, which I think for this huge buffet, dessert and drinks included, you could have as many drinks as you wanted. That was really cool. Another huge cultural difference about prom and Abiball is that there was alcohol served at Abiball, which would never happen in the US. That's what the after parties are for, as I said before. And they served alcohol to the students and the parents and everybody. Okay, my device died, so let's just keep going. My last difference that was specifically Abiball was that it lasted well until 2 o'clock in the morning. Myron and I left probably around 2 o'clock in the morning, but there were still a lot of people outside, not inside anymore, but outside, very drunk and still having a good time. Being very drunk because, you know, teenagers and alcohol, they get crazy. But Abiball isn't just a random celebration, I don't think, like I think the US but Abiball isn't a random celebration like I think prom is. It is specifically a graduation celebration. It takes place the day of their graduation, the day they get their diplomas and everything, and I think that's really cool. We just have our big ol' super extra graduation ceremony, and then afterwards maybe people have their parties, or they even have it the day before like I did, and I think that's really cool. So if you want to learn more about the differences between American and German culture, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time.